we made sure we had a kid during COVID because we were like, you know what? We're not going to live in fear. We're not going to let it. Because so many people said, I'm not going to bring a kid into this environment. The world's going to an end. Hey, we're live.
Well,
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So we having another. We had our third little girl. So it's awesome. So glad to meet you guys.
it's glad to meet you too. So welcome to the Holistic Kids Show. My name is Zane.
My name is Abdullah.
And my name's Imad.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. Forever, chemicals, glyphosate, microplastics, and other toxins have been in the news lately for all the effects it can cause in our bodies.
4 days ago, the CNN reported the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is promoting that it will be labeled with some of thousands forever chemicals as hazardous, and Roundup was sued $2.2 million for causing cancer in a 49-year-old.
And 3 weeks ago, CNN also reported cancer incidents rising among adults and young adults are 50%. We are getting sicker and sicker.
So you were telling me that we are flooded with toxins and getting sicker? What are we going to do?
Well, today we have the perfect guest with us today, the non-toxic dad, Warren Phillips. Warren Phillips, MS, the non-toxic dad, is a social movement that educates individuals to choose a non-toxic lifestyle. A passionate and energetic individual, he lives by his words, and he works tirelessly to educate the world about avoiding and removing toxins. Non-Toxic Dad has reached and impacted 100,000 million people in the last year. That's a big number.
Really big number.
For the past 18 plus years, Warren has empowered health practitioners, health experts, and the public through education, podcasts, and events. Now living in Utah with his wife and 3 young daughters, he is grateful for his family's support as he continues his mission to help others choose a non-toxic life. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We would love to know your story.
You want to hear a little bit about my story, but I just want to thank you guys. Like, this is my passion, is speaking to children, because I know homeschool moms, we're a homeschool family, are going to be sharing this with their kids. Kids think they're invincible, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're a kid who thinks you're not gonna, unless you're a kid that already has health challenges, and then they're like, hey mom, what do? I don't want this eczema anymore. How can I change my diet? I have brain fog. I have attention deficit. Like, mom, I want help. What can I do? And then they get into natural health, usually with their mom, and they guide them to a holistic, non-toxic lifestyle that can lead them out of some of that symptoms and get them free and healthy again. But the challenge is, like me, I was born with toxins. My mom had 14 amalgam fillings. There is research in the highest, best journals out there showing that the amount of amalgam fillings in mom is going to be directly proportional to the amount of mercury in your organs and tissues and in your brain. Mercury is the second most toxic substance on the planet. And that was the main toxin that went from mom to baby, say 20 years ago. But now, just like you guys mentioned, glyphosate, forever chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, this modern world, microplastics are now being passed, right? So all these toxins are building up into these little babies, and we're being born toxic. So when my grandparents, they had a very empty toxic bucket at birth, and then they could do all the bad things and they'd still live a long life. But when you're little and being born, your toxic bucket is already full of toxins. So when you enter the world, it only takes a little bit more toxins that we're being exposed to in our homes, through our couches, the volatile organic compounds, these fumes that come off the paints in our homes, the plastic fumes, the phthalates in our perfumes, and everywhere. It's ubiquitous, means everywhere within our life. Fill these buckets up, and then we have symptoms. So going back to me, I was born a little bit toxic, probably not as toxic as the youth of today and the babies of today, but I was born a little bit toxic because of my mom having so many amalgam fillings. Fast forward that time, I went to graduate school because I wanted to clean up the environment, reduce, recycle, reuse, which children understand today because we understand that language, because we should recycle, we should take care of the planet. We've had a lot of documentaries and Netflix, and everyone's saying this because the world is essentially dying, is what they're saying, right? So we all understand this, and I wanted to clean up the environment. So I went on to got my master's degree, and my job was cleaning up the environment. So in order for us to build electronics and do a lot of the things we do, we mined minerals out of the ground to help the industrialized world. But in that process of mining, we polluted the environment. So I would go in and clean that up as an environmental consultant. And then other toxins, like from ancient toxins, federal use defense sites, and gasoline and all this other stuff. So I was exposed to all these toxins in my job, and I got very sick at 25 years old, to the point where I couldn't function. I couldn't smile. I couldn't sleep. I had chronic pain, no energy. Didn't sleep at night, like all these crazy symptoms, eye twitching. So at 25 years old, I couldn't enjoy life. I couldn't play outside and do the things I wanted to do as a healthy 25-year-old young man. The challenge is what I found out, though, in that process. And of course, I eventually found it was toxins, it was heavy metals, it was these things that were making me not feel well. And when I start living a non-toxic lifestyle, like we're going to talk about today, and doing some detoxification strategies, my body came back and my body healed itself. And the sad reality is that our modern homes, schools, food is more toxic than when I was working cleaning up hazardous toxic materials in my job. So that's the sad state of where we're in. When I say toxins, what are we going to do, right? We don't fear toxins. Fear is a toxin. So we can't run around as kids or as moms and dads and be like, oh my gosh, our bodies are there's no hope. There's so much hope, because once we identify, once we know better, we do better. You're kids, right? You don't know that wearing plastic polyester is bad for you, right? But it is. Is it the worst thing you can do? Maybe not. But once I tell you that, that's your decision whether you want to change or not, right? So we identify the problems and we focus on the solutions. What I always tell my kids when I'm training and teaching them is like, honey, we can focus on the problem and we can fight about that and argue that, but rather let's focus our time and energy on the solution so that we can do better moving forward. It's okay that you made a mistake. It's okay that you ate the piece of cake with the red and yellow and green 6, 7, 8, 12 that's toxic and can lead to attention deficit in children, right? It's okay that you did that, but let's go through this next time. Let me know you're going to that party, and then we're going to give you an alternative that you can take with you, and you're not going to eat that food. You make the choice, because we want you to make the best decision for you. So we identify the problems and we focus on the solutions. We don't live in fear about all these toxins, like you guys said, glyphosate, which is actually one of the worst toxins out there, boys. It's a bad one, right? And toxic Gundry and Dr. David Perlmutter, right? You've talked to these guys about these big toxics and big topics that are going on, gluten and all this stuff, right? And I think it's the glyphosate more than it's the gluten, and from my perspective, that's really, really hurting our guts, because our guts are the very lifeblood of, our functionality and our genetics and our epigenetics. So having a healthy gut, that's why I think glyphosate, as you mentioned, is probably one of the worst toxins affecting children, because we're destroying their microbiome, and their microbiome is everything. It's our immune system. It's 70% of our immune system. So toxins, toxic evaders that usually can't cross into our bloodstream, are now making it inside of us and causing autoimmune conditions in children, cancer in children. Like it's sad. The rate of cancer in children, as you mentioned, guys, so well done. It's just skyrocketing. So, and it's the children. That's why I love the show, and why I'm so excited is that if you guys, your generation really starts to understand this, there's going to be great change, because there is a movement happening with young people like you. You don't want to have the life. It makes no sense to ingest things that your body can't use, right? Why would you want to? Go ahead, man. It's like, why do we want to do that? My body can't use it. It's actually toxic to my body. It leads to cancer. It causes my hormones not to right. I can't focus as much. I can't have as much fun. I'm not as happy. So why would I eat these things? Why would I put this in my body? Why would I expose myself to this? Let's do the natural things that work with nature, with our bodies, to produce joy. to make happy, healthy cells.
Yes.
So that we can have more fun, so that we can experience the genius of who we are. Your brain is so powerful and capable of so much. I just saw a quote the other day. We spend the first 50 years of our life stop trying to be children and grow up. We spend the last 50 years trying to be children, because children's curiosity and intuition is the brilliance that changes the world, right? It's not these facts that we memorize. It's this intuition. This isn't good for me, right? There's got to be a better way. And so that's why I'm so excited to be on this show, because I get to plant those seeds into children like you that are going to carry those seeds into the next generation. Any questions?
Well, I think let's start with the basics, because most kids don't even know what a toxin is.
Yeah, and you were talking a lot about these toxins
and chemicals. And so let's just start from the basics.
You're reeling me back in here, right?
Yes.
So what is a toxin? A toxin is something that's foreign to your body that can come in through breathing, through eating, your skin, which is your largest organ in your body. So anything you put on your skin, your body eats. So that'll cross into your skin, you absorb it. So that's like eating it. It can actually come in through your eyes as well, and even your ears. So all these different places is where toxins can come in. And your body produces its own toxins just from eating some food. It's like an engine, and it produces a waste like exhaust out your parents' car. So we have they're called endogenous toxins. The fancy, it sound like Gundry now, right? Or David, using big words, but I'm not a big words guy. But we have these toxins, and these toxins are not good for our body. They have no purpose inside of our body. And when they don't have purpose, a lot of the times they go into our cells and they attach to our cells, and they can do a number of different things. They can disrupt how our body works, like our hormones. Our hormones tell us when to go to sleep. Our hormones tell us how our heart should beat, like all these little signals that are happening in our body. They can block those signals and stop our bodies from hearing what it needs to do next. So they stop that, and they also cause inflammation. And not the kind of inflammation when you fall on your bike and it gets all red and it's sore. That's inflammation too, and that's your body kind of healing.
Acute inflammation.
Yeah.
But some of these other doctors probably share the inflammation that happens at the cellular level or inside your body that's not good inflammation. I mean, there is some good inflammation, like when you get sick, you get the flu, you're achy all over. That's your immune system naturally fighting. And in that fighting process, that's why you're tired. That's why you're sore. But these toxins cause bad inflammation, which can also make you achy and sore, but it doesn't go away. It's not like the flu where you get the inflammation, your immune system does its job, and then you feel good again. It's the inflammation that comes in from these toxins, and it stays there, and it happens every day, all day. And that's bad for your body. It doesn't like that. And that constant inflammation can cause all kinds of problems. As a matter of fact, even Time Magazine says that kind of inflammation from bad food, which is toxic as well, those additives, certain seed oils, there's certain ones that your body really can't process or use. That's going to cause inflammation. What we eat, the air, the water, these different toxins come into our bodies through the food, through our breathing, and they cause this unchecked inflammation. And inflammation is connected to all the different diseases that are out there today, right? From heart disease to cancer, all of it, right? So these toxins are foreign invaders. These are bad guys stealing our energy, stealing our minds, not allowing us to think properly, hurting our bellies, causing our guts not to work properly. They are not good guys. So that's what a toxin is. It's essentially a bad guy that should not be in your body.
So basically, it's kind of like a chemical or toxin that's all around us. And once it affects our bodies, it causes inflammation and makes us sicker.
You nailed it. You nailed it, brother.
We have to keep it out of our body. Keep it away from us.
Yeah. We want to keep toxins is now there's no avoiding toxins. There's always there's not avoiding go to school, and there's going to be some kids that aren't as nice, right? And there's going to be good kids, right? We want to hang out with the good kids, and we want to love on the bad kids. It's not the best analogy. We don't love toxins, but we want to avoid them as much as we possibly can, because they're not adding value to our life. They're actually taking value away. What does that mean? They're not going to make you better, right? They're not going to add to this beautiful life that we have. They're actually taking away. Yeah. So toxins are chemicals, right? That's one type of toxin. There's actually 3 types of toxins. There's chemical toxins. There's emotional toxins, right? Like the words that we share with each other, right? Because that can have effect on our hormones too, or just having fun. Like me being around you 3 today makes my hormones happy, right? It gives me the happy hormones. You guys you're cute. You're amazing. Well, you're handsome. And you're the oldest. Ahmad, right? No, Abdullah.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
I'm
He's
the
the youngest.
I'm the
No, I'm the oldest. What do you mean?
Imad, right?
Yeah.
You're
This
the
is Imad, I'm Abdullah, and this is Zan.
Zain. Zen?
Yes.
Okay.
Same Zan, same thing.
So anyway, I just want to make sure I'm getting it right. So where was I was on? What topic was I on? I was talking about the bad guys. Oh, the 3 types of toxins. Yeah, the chemical toxins, the emotional toxins. What we're talking about is our words, the things that we tell ourselves. And I want to go back to that I think that's one of the most important things that we can teach you, that we can teach other people listening. This is emotional toxins is a big one. And then of course, natural biotoxins, biological toxins. And those toxins are from living things, right? That produce toxins. Like if you had black mold in your house, so that they put out a toxin that's bad for you, or diseases like Lyme disease, they put out a biotoxin, right? So those are the biological toxins, the chemical toxins, and then the emotional toxins. And since I have a kid audience here and you guys are listening, I think the emotional toxins and how we talk about ourselves is one of the most important things that we can do. So I always want to remember, and you guys are living that right now, so you wouldn't be doing your 4th year of podcast. You know that you're brilliant. You know that you can have an impact. You know that you can make a difference. And a lot of kids aren't saying that to themselves. They're saying, I'm not smart, or they're saying, I'm not hardworking, or I'm not strong. They're saying a lot of things. And when you tell yourself those things, it's like a bad guy. It's like a toxin that's blocking you from your greatest potential and your greatest opportunity in this world, which is to love one another, right? To teach people and not judge them, and to set up this open discussion. You might disagree with me, but we love each other and we want to learn from one another, and we learn and grow. And I think this unassuming audience, having 3 kids really opens people up and breaks things down to a simpler form that's more spoonable for even adults, to be quite honest, because I talk over my own head sometimes. So thank you again for doing this. Any other questions?
What are the hidden toxins that are affecting kids' health?
Oh, that's a great.
Toxins are everywhere. So how do we know how to avoid them?
Yeah, how do you know?
So so here's some ones that I think that for children in particular, and when I was talking to your mom briefly before this, I think the EMF thing is a big one, right? Because it's an addictive toxin, right? So it has the emotion. It's an emotional toxin because we get addicted to it, and we spend a lot of time, because human connection is a superpower, right? Learning how to communicate, and like we said earlier, how to have conflict resolution between each other. You learn it from your siblings. And then you could go out in the world, and instead of saying, you're wrong, I'm right, rah, 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 you're like, you're able to sit down and say, okay, how did I hurt you? What is that? So, that being said, but is the EMF is addiction, and it steals your time. But also it causes a lot of oxidative stress, especially in children. I just looked at the studies, research, just recently, because I did something on my NonToxic Dad channel. I think it's dropping tonight.
Oh wow!
Oh
yeah, on it's just like a reply video, because I was talking about how when you charge your cell phone near you at night, right, it puts off an electric field, which is this little meter that I have, right? It puts off an electric field that's not good for your body. Up to, if you're close to it, these electric fields, think about it like someone with a superpower, and they have this big protective, or they're a toxic person, right? And they have this electric thing that's around them. It's like a big bubble, right? And that is toxic to you, and you don't want to be inside of their bubble, because if you're inside of that bubble, it's hurting you. It's causing oxidative stress. It can also dysregulate your melatonin, which is what helps regulate your sleep. So it's your sleep hormone, right? Your body has these sleep hormones. And a lot of kids today aren't sleeping well, right? I used to sleep through the night. But this phone plugged in, not the Wi-Fi, not the radio frequency, even from the signal, the cell phone signal, but the electric alone, this electric field that's produced by the cell phone, if it's within like 7 feet, the field gets, the further away you get from this toxin, like the guy that has the toxic field around them, you can get outside of that field where it's not hurting you. But if you're inside that field, it's hurting you. And I just did a literature review on that. And especially in young children and animals and pets, these fields can cause even more damage to an adult. For example, this puts out 500 volts per meter when you're just right up on top of it. About 2.5 feet, it drops between 10 and 20, which is still toxic, still shown to cause oxidative stress, still cause sleep disruption. And most of these, I just talked to our babysitter tonight who's 16. She says, I sleep that next to my head. I showed her the video. So that's one way. That's a hidden toxin that you didn't realize is the electric field. Not just, of course, you guys are wise and you're putting your phone on airplane mode. And you also need to remember, guys, and everyone watching, I wish I could show, let me zoom in on this. If these are gray, that means they're still on. Did you know that? If the Wi-Fi is still gray, it's still on. It's still emitting an EMF. So you got to make sure. So you got to make sure that those are clear and not kind of whited out. That means they're still on. So then there's that toxin as well, which is causing interference. Let's zoom. Let's get my am I clear again? Yeah, because I zoomed in on that. It's causing oxidative stress as well. So these are these hidden toxins. So we don't want to put our beds right up against an outlet. We kind of want to pull them away from outlets. We want to have our lamps right next to us because if they're plugged in and they're two-pronged, I won't get into the science of that, but they're not grounded. And when they're not grounded, the bad guy comes out even more. The electric field wants to find a ground because electric, like lightning, wants to find a ground. So you don't want to be the grounding rod for electric fields, magnetic fields. So if your bed's right up next to where the refrigerator's at, right? You don't want to be there. You want to be away from electronics. Just keep it simple. At night when you're sleeping, stay away from electronics. The other things that I would say that are hidden is that kids are drinking out of plastics a lot, right?
Yeah, just all the time, just plastic bottles.
Yeah, because they go to school and you do a sport and they're giving the free Gatorade bottle away. Please don't drink Gatorade. Just drink.
There's so many random chemicals in there.
Yeah, so nasty. Food colorings. I met the guys who invented that, right?
Really?
Yes. In Florida, when I was down there working at a company and I met the guys that started, they made lots of money on that. And it was a marketing, essentially, Gatorade is Gators, the Florida Gators, right? That's where that came from. And that's more marketing than it is healthy, right? Because it's not, right? That was just most things are marketing. So that's a toxin, right? Don't listen to everything that you hear a lot of, right? So here's another hidden. I like the emotional toxins so if you're listening to watching TV and you're seeing these commercials or you're listening to certain music, you like the music, but you don't realize that it's your unconscious mind. Your brain is so powerful, guys. Every single word I'm telling you, your brain will remember for the rest of your life. Your brain is better than my whole house filled with iPhones, the highest gigabyte, right? Oh, wow. That's how much information your brain can handle and more, right? It is a super device that can do super things. And therefore, when you're listening to bad things, watching bad things, and of course, eating bad things, it's programming you not to be healthy. It's not making you a superhero. It's making you a sick person that's not able to go out into the world and impact. So really watch what you put in because it'll dictate your outcomes, right? The words that you listen to will dictate, of course, your thoughts. Then your thoughts is your actions, and your actions is your beliefs and your belief structure, right? You're these holistic kids. So you're essentially, in some regards, brainwashing yourselves to be superhuman, right? And that's what you want to be. You want to only put good things into your body so that you're like Superman, that you're superhuman. So you want to avoid the toxins. You want to avoid the word toxins, the eye toxins, the things that you watch. You want to avoid the water toxins, drinking out of plastic. You want to drink filtered water, spring water if you can get it. At least use a water filtration system. One's called reverse osmosis that's really good. So
Yes.
if you do
we also have reverse osmosis.
all those things make you superhuman, right? And
Mhm.
because you have a superhuman body, you have a superhuman brain, and the more you do those things and program your body with good food, you program your body with your microbiome, which is truly programming how you feel. So when you're eating good, healthy, fermented foods, and when you're out in nature and getting dirt in your mouth and getting these soil microorganisms, there's little bugs and soils that your body needs, and you're playing and you're in the sunlight, which is feeding your body and feeding your cells and coming in through your eyes, producing vitamin D and activating the real hormones that your body needs. You're just soaking this all in and you're becoming superhuman. And the opposite is true. When you're feeding your body bad things, stuck on your toxic devices, listening to music that's not uplifting and adding value, and just a neurotic beat that's making you addicted, or a video game that's making you addicted. And I mean, there's a time and a place to have fun. Don't get me wrong, right? We're not going to, we want to enjoy life, but we want to avoid the things that make us weak and not strong. We want to be strong, superhuman kids. That's why we're on the Holistic Kid Show.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is that even if all of these like EMFs and toxins, they're all very small, but when they start piling up all together and you keep on doing it over and over, then it starts to affect you.
Correct.
And then
You
it
got
can
it.
become a big problem.
You're really good at summarizing things. It's like you've done this a couple times. So very good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So it's the bioaccumulation of these toxins. So you'll hear in your mind, you're like, it's just a little bit. That's everyone's excuse. It's just a little bit of glyphosate. It's just a little bit of, whatever nasty chemical, saccharin, whatever, right? I'm trying to think one like Splenda or whatever. Any of those things are they're chemicals. They don't belong in our bodies. It's a little bit of heavy metals. It's a little bit of microplastics. It's a little bit of this stuff. And you're so right. Those things add up, especially in small bodies. Like I was talking about with electric and EMF, children are more highly affected. And that's why it can cause like neurological problems. And here's another one. I just wanted to throw this one out there is I think a lot of kids are still using toxic toothpaste. Right? They're using that beautiful, because they're marketing to you guys with the beautiful blue strip and it's so cool. But did you know that there is a warning label on the back of those that you have to go to the hospital if you take too much of it? And you know why that's on there?
I'm glad that we're not using those.
Yeah, you're not using those. It's fluoride. Fluoride is toxic and a neurotoxin, especially the kids, and it makes you very, very sick. And so how many times have you been around and your mom's brushing the baby's teeth and you turn around or one of your brother's teeth and they do a whole huge amount and they're like, and they don't spit it out. Where did that go? They swallowed it. So these kids have to realize, and moms too, we got to get rid of this. The fluoride is not good, right? There's lots of better ways. Give your kids some minerals to harden their teeth. And there's some consequences to using fluoride, some big consequences. So watch the toothpaste and try to get away from his plastics as much as possible, guys. Don't use plastic toothbrushes. Use natural fibers, bamboo, boar's hair bristles, things like that. Get a little more crunchy. Get back to your roots,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is amazing.
Amazing.
What is one thing kids can do today to escape from the evil toxins? The bad guys.
One of the best things I think kids can do to escape toxins is get outside.
Get outside.
Our homes, our indoor air quality is somewhat like 100 times worse than what's outside in most areas, right? And there's some cities that are an exception and you have to use air filters in your home. But when you get outside, you're getting exposure to dirt and things that you need to help your microbiome. You're grounding with the earth. There's these good electric fields, right? That replace the bad electrons from being around electronics. That's why tree hugging is true. Did you ever hear the concept tree hugging?
Yes, we've done that. We've hugged trees before.
You're exchanging literally, and this is science. This isn't crazy stuff. I used to think it was crazy, but you're exchanging your bad electrons and getting the good ones from the earth. So the more we're connected to the planet and nature, the healthier we're going to be. And that we're less tempted to watch TV because our minds are busy. We're being curious. We're exploring. we're in our minds, and we just, when you're outside, right? You just visualize all these things, and it's so good for your brain. And then it's really good for your IQ because of balance when you're hiking on hills and when you're jumping. The neurology, they show that your speech is better, your math is better, your language better. You can learn new language faster just from playing and being a kid. You are meant to play. You're meant to be outside. You're meant to be in nature, not locked in a toxic home that's off-gassing chemicals, off-gassing paint, off-gassing fake carpet, all these cheap conveniences so that we can keep up with the Joneses and look pretty with fancy drapes and toxic bedding. And it's all pretty, but it's made of plastics and polyester, and it just makes you sick. So get outside. That's the answer for you guys.
Yeah, that's why one of our biggest tips is to please go outside and touch some grass.
Exactly.
That's a great tip. I'll keep sharing that tip with the world, fellas. I so appreciate that.
So we would love to know what is next for the non-toxic dad. Non-toxic dad.
Well, the non-toxic dad is on a mission, right? I mean, I really am. I want to have a big impact. My goal this year is to reach, have at least my Instagram have 2 million followers. That's my goal. So I'm really, really working hard, and my family is supporting me, my kids, my wife. I'm really focused this year to have a bigger impact. I'm launching a docu-series called Homesick Home this year in April. HBO producers coming in, they sit on the Writers Guild. Like, these are really, really well-written. Homesick Home, talking about how our homes are making us sick. And that's why I told you guys, you need to get outside, because our homes are probably one of the #1 sources of toxins that are hurting how we feel and our energy and our ability to think. So that's a big thing for me. And then I think during this podcast, if it comes out, I'm speaking at an event in LA. If you happen to be in LA, it's called Biohack Your Beauty. It's kind of a different event because it's an LA event, but I'm speaking on the 3 toxins that are actually hacking your beauty. So it's kind of that beauty angle for the LA crowd. So I'm excited to do that. So I'm out there just trying to reach as many people as possible with this message of living a non-toxic lifestyle, not because you have to, because you get to, because it just increases your impact you're going to have in life, the amount of people you're going to be able to love, the energy that you're going to have, all of this. If I wasn't living a non-toxic lifestyle, going back to my story, if I didn't get well, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. If I would have gave up and didn't have people around me telling me the good things, that you're going to get better, that you're going to get well, that you're going to have an impact someday for all the challenges that you're having, right? Then I wouldn't be here today. So the non-toxic lifestyle saved my life, and it takes time. Be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself. We can do this together, fellas. Thank you for doing this.
Well, it's our pleasure.
It's our pleasure.
Let's recap Mr. Warren's key points.
Say that again.
Let's recap Mr. Warren's key points.
We're gonna recap what
recap. Okay.
what you were saying in the entire episode.
So kids think that they are invincible, Imad. Our modern homes, food is all more our modern homes and food is more toxic today than ever before.
We don't fear toxins, as fear is a toxin. There is so much hope. Once we know better, we do better. Identify the problems and focus on the solutions. Let's focus on our time and energy and the solutions. And don't live in fear.
A toxin is something that is foreign to your body. Anything that you put on your body goes into your body. I mean, people think that their skin is just a protective layer, when really, like, it's kind of like a sponge. It always absorbs everything around us. These toxins are not good for our bodies. They can disrupt the way your body works, and they block signals and stop our bodies from hearing what it does best. It also increases the bad inflammation and makes us kids sick, and everyone sick.
Toxins can be in our food, in our environment, and in our air. It's like everywhere. Toxins are foreign invaders trying to steal our energy, mind, bellies. They're not good. They're not good guys. They're the opposite. They're bad guys that shouldn't be in their body. Toxins are chemicals, emotional toxins, and natural biotoxins like Lyme disease or mold. Your brain is a super device that can do super things. So just don't avoid toxins.
For sure.
Yeah.
When you're listening to bad things, then you watch bad things too, but only good things in your bodies.
Yes.
You should have good things in your bodies. Emotional toxins are also a really big problem in today's world, and we need to talk. We need to talk.
We need to talk to kids around the world with love.
Yeah, instead of just saying, "Oh, you got a B. Oh, get better."
Yeah. And remember, EMF, or the electromagnetic field, is also an addiction, and it steals your time. It causes a lot of oxidative stress to your body. So remember to put your phones in airplane mode, put them away from your head, like at least 2 feet, and stay from and remember to put it away from your bed as well.
Mhm. So kids are drinking out of plastics, drinks
All the time.
all the time, like
All the time.
all the time.
all the time.
So drink spring water and use reverse osmosis.
Also, glyphosate is hurting our gut and is one of the worst toxins affecting kids. So stop using toxic toothpaste. Even though it says it's gonna make your teeth 100% whiter, fluoride is still a neurotoxin.
Mhm.
Get rid of the fluoride and add minerals instead. Use natural toothbrushes, and remember to get outside today to also help to escape toxins.
So there is no use of consuming things that your body can't use. Use the natural things that can help us experience the genius of who we are, so we can become super.
All these things will make you a superhuman.
Superman. Wow, Warren, this was amazing. We are so thankful for your wisdom and time today. We love your mission, and we would love to help you out in any way you need help to spread this message.
So remember, everyone, to go check out Mr. Warren on social media, and also, if you see him, go to some of his events because he is so empowering.
So-
Empowering.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zanzari.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Imad.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Mom D, and look out for my mom's book. She's working on her 8th. I am doing the illustrations, and we're writing a book. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast and iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to work together to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kid Show, where kids are empowering kids.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.